Hello and welcome back to our nightly homesteading live stream. I'm Scott,
And I'm Tina.
and we are live coming to you from central Mississippi. Tonight, we are talking about predators that can get in your chicken coop or get in, that can totally wipe out your
Mm-hmm.
flock.
So there's several predators that can do that, but if you're wondering what this is our cat Missile. He doesn't have a tail, so that's his little bum right there. He's sitting there. So just so y'all know, that's our cat.
But yeah, we're talking about some predators that can wipe out your whole chicken flock tonight.
Yeah.
So we're
So
coming up with the top 5 predators. That's most of these are in our area, Mississippi. You
yeah,
might
let us
have
yeah.
some in other areas, but
Yeah,
um,
you may be up north and have some different predators that we don't have down here in the south. We'd love to hear, what kind of predators y'all have had, in your chicken pens or coops that have maybe carried off some of your chickens. But the first one is a raccoon. So there's a reason that raccoons are called bandits. They have little fingers and they can open simple latches, so it's a good idea to make sure that you have a good latch on your chicken pen so that they can't open it, something that closes where they can't just push it up.
and ours has a little hole you can put a screw in or put like a you
A
can put a
lock.
lock in
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
it's just something that they won't that they can't get into. They will get in. We had some raccoons do some damage.
Yeah, I had three baby chickens that were about I don't know, about 6 or 7 weeks old, and we had put them outside in the coop, and I made the mistake of thinking that it was predator proof, and it really wasn't. And they can fit in a pretty small space, and they got um, two of them and carried them off and didn't even eat them. They won't even eat them. They just kill them basically. It's almost like they're being just mean, not killing them for food. They're just killing them to be mean or something.
Yeah.
And so we, thought that we had predator proofed it. After that, we put some wire and stuff up, and then they got in again and they killed the last one. And they actually, kind of took that chicken's little body and it was up on top of a pole, and he was just dead, and he
Mm.
he wasn't eaten. He was just killed. So they
And the
can do
bad thing
some
about it, he was traumatized from like one of them was
right.
traumatized because the raccoon got in there the night before
Yeah.
and attacked some of them, and he or she was the only one left, and it was traumatized, and then unfortunately the raccoon got in there the next night and got it.
Yeah, even
But
though we attempted to, so even if you think it's predator proof, it may not be,
yeah,
not from the raccoons. So they can climb fences, and they're really good climbers, and they can open those latches, and they can fit in I mean, this space was,
yeah.
I'd say, about this big, and they squeezed, through that space.
And we had the bottom taken care of, but the top, we didn't think that much space something could get into it, but
Right.
it did, and it caused a lot of damage. So, raccoons in our area, probably most of the United States, they come out at night and they can do a lot of damage.
And they are little bandits.
Yeah,
They're,
they are just a mess because they can just tear up a chicken flock.
Another predator would be just a dog. Now, sometimes you'll have neighbors and their dogs will just wander free, especially out here in the country because they don't have to be on leashes or anything. And they can get after your chickens and catch them. And sometimes we even have wild dogs that have come around just out of the woods. We've
Hmm.
had that happen several times. And one time I remember I had some wild dogs and they just kind of came up and started trying to get the chickens out of the chicken coop. And I had to get the gun. And I mean, I didn't shoot one of them, but I shot at them to get them away from the chicken coop because they were really aggressively trying to dig into that chicken
Yeah.
coop. I was here and nobody else was. And I heard some noise and I looked outside and there was three dogs like trying to get into my chicken coop, and it was kind of scary, really. So I just shot the gun and they left, and I think they may have came back the next day or something, but they will do some damage too. So you want to make sure for any predator that you have a barrier on the bottom of your chicken pen, like wire on the bottom that extends out for 2 or 3 feet so they can't dig up under your chicken pen.
Yeah, that's what we did. We put wire around it, put dirt on top of it. That way, if they dig, they'll hit that wire. So hopefully they won't dig far enough out. I don't think they'll go that far out. But yeah, but dogs can really be a problem.
And
even if you're in the city, it can be a problem.
Yeah, it can. And another thing is, don't think just if you first get chickens and they're free ranging or whatever, your family dog needs to be taught, how to respect the chickens and not get after them and chase them. So you want to do an introduction, to the chickens if you first get them, so that dog understands that it can't, hurt the chickens. And that's kind of what we did in the past with our other dog. Now our dog we've got now, I don't know. She might catch a chicken if she tried really hard, but she's never really messed with them.
I think she's too out of shape to chase
something.
a chicken. But yeah, she, we're usually around, so, she doesn't go chasing them.
I think she tries to protect them sometimes. We have the baby chickens. When I hatch them and I put them in the brooder, she doesn't like the cats to come up to the brooder to look at them or do anything to them. She'll bark at them, at the cats, and try to protect the chickens. She don't like that. And sometimes I'll ask her, I'll say, come on, let's go put up the chickens, or let's go see about the baby chicks. And she knows what that is, and she'll go sniff them like she's checking on them to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, she's real protective, but you never know, you don't want to leave dogs out there with them if you're not familiar, if your dog's not trained to not bother them.
Right.
But another animal that we have problems with that's a risk, and we've had one try to get into the chicken coop, is coyotes. There's also bobcats in that class, but coyotes and bobcats, they will do a lot of damage to a chicken flock.
Yep, they will. So we had a rooster that I think we've told you before that was outside the coop and was sleeping on the ground, and a coyote did come up and get him. We saw it on the camera. He grabbed the rooster and took off in the woods with him. And
this was a real tough rooster.
Yeah.
Spurs about that long or
really
longer.
long. So don't think just because you have a rooster that's tough that he's
sorry,
can't get caught by a predator, but our cats. But the roosters, even if it's a big rooster, can get caught by a predator.
Yeah, this was a big, tough rooster, but it's those the coyotes. Most of the time they come out at night, but we have seen them in the daytime.
We have. One day I looked out and I just saw a coyote walking across the yard. It was kind of a young, looked young maybe. It was walking across the yard like it was lost or something. I don't know if it had lost its pack or what, but it was just wandering around in our yard by itself. So, it was eyeing the chickens. Of course, they were in the fence, but it was trying to eye the chickens too. So
yeah, we have a big problem with coyotes around this area. Every once in a while, we'll see a bobcat on one of the trail cameras in the back of the property.
But the main thing,
and we have seen one up here close to us. But
which is another thing. We have bobcats here. I don't think we have a whole lot of them, but they're pretty aggressive. They'll get after a chicken too. So just be aware of that. And they're night predators too. You can usually hear them though coming if you're, they make. Just like a regular cat, they make like a loud screaming noise, I guess, almost.
Right.
So that's another predator that you want to be aware of is those bobcats.
And another predator is like hawks and owls. Those kind of have, they'll do the same thing. But like recently
hawks,
we had a problem with an owl catching
that pigeon that we had hanging around.
Yeah.
It caught one of those, but hawks, they come out during the day, and if your pen is open, they'll swoop down in there and get, they if you have a bigger chicken, they don't mess with them as much, but they will try to get them. And even like any other animals, sometimes hawks will get them. If there's a baby kitten or a smaller dog, they will try to attack them. They're pretty vicious.
And you want to make sure that your coop is covered if you
Possibly can, yeah. And if they're free range, make sure you got you a rooster around or a guard goose or something.
Most of the time I think a rooster would help protect
he
them.
does, yeah, he does help protect them. And if they see chickens, if they see a shadow flying around, they run for cover. When they see something flying around on top of them. And if you don't know, chickens they make like an alarming noise. They make a noise when they see something flying in the air that scares them. I've had a hawk catch a chicken before too. We didn't have a cover on the old chicken coop, and I went out there, and the hawk was actually caught up in one of the smaller coops trying to get out, and it had the chicken up in that coop, and it had killed the chicken, and it was trying to get out, and ran over there, and it finally flew out, and I couldn't catch it or do anything with it. It flew away. Actually, you're not supposed to kill hawks in our area. I don't know about your area, but that's how it is here. You're not supposed to shoot them or kill hawks.
Yeah, but they can do some damage. And, one thing you might want to do is try not to put your food or water out in the open, because that might encourage them to come in.
Yeah, while your chickens are there feeding, put your food and your water up under a cover so they're not going to be out in the open like that.
And number 5 in our 5 predators that can get your chickens will be foxes. We do have foxes on the property. I've seen them on the game camera, but
I've never seen one come on the property. I think they're kind of a little bit shyer than a coyote would be, but they will come on to your property. So if you have wooded areas around your chicken coop, just be mindful of that. You need to have it kind of open around your chicken coop so you don't have a whole lot of woods or brush up against your chicken coop, because foxes, they're kind of shyer. They don't want to come out in the open like coyotes will or raccoons will. So just keep that in mind, and that'll help with the fox situation.
And by the way, if you've got any comments, if you've had any chickens come up missing from predators, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Yeah, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We want to thank you for watching. We try to do this Homestead and stream every night at 7:30 Central.
And so tomorrow night we're going to be out in the campfire. It's raining tonight. So
hopefully it's not going to rain tomorrow night.
I don't think it will. So we'll be by the campfire tomorrow talking about burnout on the homestead, and how that affects you, and some things you can do to keep from getting burnout on the homestead.
And so to go over it again, no matter what the predators, make sure you don't, if you're free range, and you do want to make sure you have a rooster
or a guard goose or
something.
A
guard goose,
or
that'll
even
help.
a trained if you have a dog, those
that you trust.
Yeah, those Great Pyrenees or something. I think they're the big white dogs. They're good protectors of your chickens or any livestock, really.
Yeah.
They're really good protectors.
And make sure you have 2-step latches. Have a latch on your chicken coop doors. Also, make sure it's best to have some kind of roof or some netting over it, and you want to make sure there's not even this much gap.
Yeah, that
because
we
like
learned
we said
our mistake
earlier,
with that. Yeah,
we had that problem. And don't leave food outside overnight, because that does attract, especially raccoons coming in overnight, because they travel at night. So,
and make sure, like, if you over your vents and stuff in your chicken pen, that you have some kind of hardware cloth over that. Don't just have an open vent or window.
We learned a lot of lessons in our other chicken coop. So
yeah, we did.
Now we think it's predator proof. So, before we did think it was predator proof, but we think it's a lot more predator proof now. So hopefully, and we do have some videos on our channel that show you us starting to build it, and we're putting some
Yeah.
more on it of us building it if you want to see that. So,
Yeah, and another thing is do a nightly routine. Don't wait till it gets really dark, outside to go lock up the chickens. Do it at dusk. They go to bed, as soon as, it starts getting dark.
yeah.
They go to bed. So try to remember to lock them up, at a certain time every night, and don't wait, later on into the night to do that.
Because the longer you wait when it's dark, the bigger the risk.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as it gets dark, a lot of those predators start coming
Mm-hmm.
out. So, well, hopefully this has been helpful to you. Remember, tomorrow night we're going to have our campfire, and hope you join us. And so, anything else?
No, I guess that's all. Thank y'all for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night.